This is the Twin Cities Real Estate Investing Show. Real stories, real success in Twin Cities real estate. Join your hosts, Adam Tafel and Tim Swierczek, as they dive into the world of Twin Cities real estate investing. Together, they share valuable insights and practical tips to help both new and seasoned investors navigate the Minneapolis-St. Paul market. With a focus on relatable stories from real people, this show will empower you with the knowledge and confidence to thrive in your investing journey. Guys, take it from here.
What's going on, Tim?
Hey, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026.
We did it. Another year passed. Everybody's posting on social media, bragging about their sales.
I saw.
I haven't done it yet.
I saw a guy do that, and I was like, I just can't. I have to start doing it, right? I think. I don't know.
Do people care how many tens of millions of dollars of transactions you've done? Well, you know what? I'm not going to be a hater right now.
I don't know. I mean, to me, it feels foreign, but there's people I respect that do it, and I think it's just one of those things like, hey, remember I do this and I'm pretty good at it. Maybe
sure
is what you're communicating. I don't know. I don't like it, but I don't hate the people who do it. I just don't feel comfortable doing it. I guess. Yeah. Someday I just got to start though. Self promotion, right? You gotta let people know what you do.
What do you guys think? Should we start promoting ourselves more? Would you guys enjoy that? Well, we thought we would do this. We kind of threw this together this week. We were due for an Adam and Tim episode, and we thought we'd do like a year recap of the year. We're going to talk about our personal deals. I guess I had maybe a little bit more going on than you, but I'm going to talk about the 3 deals I bought this year. You're going to talk about what you have going on right now. And then we're going to go into, kind of like top 10 client friend of the show deals of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think? Should we just jump in?
Let's go for it. Yeah.
Welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Investing Show, brought to you by Shook. Shook is the all-in-one platform to help you manage your rentals, built for real estate investors just like us. Shook offers lightning-fast ACH payments. I just got a few properties set up with Shook, and I'm getting paid way faster than my old service. They can also do custom things, like if you need to pay a manager a percentage, they can take care of that. The staff at Shook, Oliver, and the team are just so awesome to work with, and we want to thank Shook for sponsoring the podcast. At $5 per unit per month, it's totally worth checking out shookrentals.com to book a live demo. In the show notes, we're also offering a discount of 20%. Use the code TCREI20. Thank you. One of the hardest parts of investing is finding a solid property manager. I've worked with plenty over the years. Some are better than others. Earlier this year, I did a 10-unit deal where John and his team at RPM Viking handled the management for our mutual out-of-state client. They were professional, they were responsive, they delivered exactly as promised. Now they are my #1 management referral, and I'm proud to have them supporting the show. Learn more at rpmviking.com. Use the code TCREI300 for $300 off maintenance services when you sign up with RPM Viking as your property manager. Thanks for sponsoring the show. Investors, if a deal gets messy, call Network Title. They can handle the BRRRR, the 1031, mixed use, commercial, whatever it takes, so you can close on time. Mentor of mine, guy who I really respect, Kirk Duckwall, says, working with Network Title is kind of like having another personal assistant. That's how on the ball these people are. Network Title, complex deals made simple. Link in the show notes. The first deal that I bought, wow, really? Was that in January? This was my first partnership deal. People who are fans of the show probably heard a little bit about this place.
We talked about it a few times in the outros, right?
But it's just, MLS, pretty normal, single family home, Crocus Hill, 1010 Fairmount Avenue. For those of you listening in podcast form, if you want to go to YouTube, this is going to be a heavily visual episode. But just a home that was kind of just frumpy looking, but you could tell it was beautiful beyond the kind of poor staging and poor, like, look at this kitchen, right?
Yeah.
The ARV spread was good. Adam Witter turned me on to this because he lived next door at the time and said, hey, man, look at how low they priced the neighboring home. Now, homes in this neighborhood, Crocus Hill, I don't know, for 27 to 3,000 square feet. Again, it was also underlisted. God, median price point's probably like 650 to 8 for something like this.
Okay.
So we see margin. We see a house that, like,
what was it listed at?
This home was listed at 500.
Okay.
And we ended up negotiating $15,000 in closing costs and going up to 520.
Okay.
So net price of 505. You guys don't underestimate how lazy agents and people who work for agents can be. Like them claiming that this is, only like 1,700 finished above grade is just so false. If you walked into this home, it's definitely bigger than the house we're sitting in right now. What they had done is they had finished this attic. Let me see if I can go back and show you the attic. And again, they're not making it look great in the photos, right? But this is an extra, I don't know, 350 up here.
I look at that and I say they didn't. Yeah, I shouldn't say they didn't use a professional photographer because that could be, but it's a bad angle on that for that room.
Well, here, let's do a contrast.
Actually, most of these photos actually are pretty good angles. You can tell the rooms, like this room looks like it's not a traditional shape, right? It's not a square. It's some version of a octagon or a partial octagon, right? So those are hard rooms to take pictures on.
Yeah. It's just not a great effort, right?
They probably lost $100,000 because of the kitchen, right? Maybe even $150 because of the kitchen.
Yeah, maybe not
Something
150,
like that.
not 150,
Yeah.
but I think, okay, so I'll get into the numbers now. I think it's worth $675 as it sits now. Now, we actually had a buyer. We had it under contract at $700. I won't get into the details.
I remember that one falling
Just
through.
gross negligence on someone else's part is why that deal fell apart. But yeah, I mean, we took something for 520, call it 505 if you want. We put 80 into it. So we're 600 all in, and it should easily appraise. I think it would appraise at 700 today. Oh, here, why don't I show you? Here, and we didn't really have to do that much. Here is what it looks like. By the way, we did paint the exterior, but we were in a rush to get the rental listing up. So that's why the house is still kind of ugly in the exterior. But just look at how much better our photographer is. This is honestly just not even painting. This is doing a little virtual staging and removing all of the grandpa furniture. Right? How much better is this listing than...
Yeah.
Go back. Than that. Makes a big difference, people. Big difference. Seller could have done this, for not very much money. Anyways.
Can you show us what you did to the kitchen?
Yeah. Really just simple kitchen. It's not my favorite. It's not the kitchen I would pick for myself, but this kitchen, I think we spent $6,500 on cabinets, $2,500 on appliances. We put actual new hardwood in. That was maybe $1,500.
Okay. Only 50. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. Yep. A couple thousand on tile. And we elected to not remove this wall because we wanted to preserve, this dining room's
it's a
pretty
cool dining
sweet,
room.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that, and then we, this is cool. I'm proud of how this bathroom came out.
Yeah, I like the green tile there.
Yeah, we
The
did
long,
not.
thin tiles.
Yeah, the green tile was controversial with my. Okay, this is the first partnership deal I've ever done as well. Lessons learned. as far as like the next time I do a partnership deal, I think we should have just been more structured about like, how are we going to make decisions? It was a lot of like waiting for them to decide and okay something, because there's 2 of them and there's 1 of me, right? I'm a third and they're 2/3 of the deal. And we all, we got along, and I think we want to definitely do a deal to get again. But I think the lesson learned in the partnership was like, you just need to sit down, make all the decisions, right, in one chunk of time, and then let somebody boots on the ground execute, rather than like, okay,
You're
guys,
waiting for them on a
we have to
tile
pick
decision?
this out,
Yeah.
a tile decision, right? I've never done it before, and they're friends, and anyways,
So here's what I learned with dealing with friends.
Yeah.
A lot of times I treat my customers more structured than I do my friends, right? You let your friends get away with things.
Sure.
And I found that it can lead to less satisfaction, actually. I've done it one for my best friend, and I think that if I would have treated him more like a customer and less like my best friend, it would have been more satisfactory. Not that it was bad, but it was like, there wasn't the path, the path you walk someone down as a client. When they're friends, you don't walk them down the same path always, right? It's like, oh, let's just go meet for coffee or whatever. And they don't get your presentation, if you will.
Yeah.
But the presentation actually has material in it they need to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like it's not all sales. It's like, hey, this is the process. Well, they don't know the process because you just met them for coffee and you didn't do the, hey, this is the process talk, that kind of thing, right? So that's something I learned over the years.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar reason to why some people make mistakes when they're really slow. It doesn't matter what your job is, because you're not taking it as seriously. Oh, this is going to be easy.
Hey, I got a question for you. It's minor,
up?
but did you guys do the in the bathroom? Did you put that film on the windows?
No.
Pro tip: that to me, that's a better way to do bathrooms than put up like a blind or something, right? Because the blind blocks the light. It tends to get damaged.
Yep.
No one ever pulls it up. If you do these, it's nice and clean. It's cheaper, and you can change the look. You just go to Home Depot. They have it's a film it's like a plastic thing that can make it look like etched glass. You can make it look like stained glass, all that. So
Yep.
just for anyone looking, I think it's a great idea, and we do it on all of our bathrooms.
This is cool. We popped this porch out. So here, let me show you. Upstairs in I guess what you would call the primary bedroom, right here. Okay, so if you open this door, you go out to this porch.
Okay, so you remove the wall in between?
Remove the wall, and just opened it up and added like a cool walk-in closet. Although, again, learn something with every deal. We should have put a bathroom here. This right here is a walk-in closet, and that should absolutely be a 3/4 bath. Because when people, here's the thing, we might sell this house when it's worth $800, $900. Who knows when we're going to sell?
Yeah.
Once you get to a certain price point, and right now I think that price point is probably $700 in the Twin Cities, you need an ensuite. Period. Meaning you need an attached bath and a primary bedroom.
Right, because the person who's paying the mortgage doesn't want to have to walk down the hall to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or walk out of their room naked when they might have kids around or something like that as they get older, right? As you get teenagers in the house, you can't walk around the same way you do when you have a 5-year-old in the house or a 4-year-old or whatever, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if there's one thing I want to get better at, I mean, there's lots of things I want to get better at, but deciding how far to go with my renovations is still something that I really waver on.
I get it.
Cause Tim, if you buy a house, you pretty much know, I mean, I don't know.
We change our minds every now and again. Like I recently changed the scope of work on a project, but it was I went back to what my gut said, right? I had someone else telling me what I should do, and I went with that originally.
Sure.
And then we got in the project line. My gut told me originally that was not smart. Let's do this instead. And yeah, but pretty minor changes really.
Anyways, I think you guys get it. We made it look a lot better. That's
a lot more modern looking right there.
Yeah, all in all, we ended up even with holding costs. I think we probably spent $70, and then we got some holding costs. So $600 in. We've created $75, $80, maybe $100 on a good day. $100,000 in wealth. Not a great earner right now. Our PITI is $3,600 a month. It's rented at $4,100. with a little more patience, I think we easily could have gotten, we had a lease signed. Gosh, it was in their inbox. We were marketing it at, 47 or 48, I think. And the deal fell apart. I forget. They found something else. And then we found a lady who we really liked. In fact, I was showing her one of those units in my triplex. And I'm like, well, you know what? I have this other house, but it was over her budget. And so I called the partners. I'm like, listen, I like this lady a lot. And you know what? My intuition was correct. So she got a caretaker discount and a Adam Likes You discount, but $4,100. She pays on the first every month.
Cool.
Yeah.
And right now, that property to do well just has to maintain itself, right? Like, for example, like an extra $500 a month is awesome if you can get it, but in the end, that's not where the real profit's coming from.
Not at all. Nope. There's going to be significant tax savings for myself and my partner, high earner, W-2 guy. Well, I guess so. More significant for the real estate professional. But he will eventually have some nice tax savings. We hold it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Somewhere in the single digits, probably. Before that bathroom and kitchen are out of style. And we sell at an opportune time and then probably 1031 into keep the partnership alive. Yeah. And sell into something that perhaps has a more cash flow angle.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my first favorite deal. Why don't we do one of yours? Or no, we're not.
We're just going in order. I don't care.
We're still doing personals. So, I bought, as everybody refers to, the hoarder house. Okay, so shout out to Joe Schwartzbauer for believing in me. I'll tell you what, all these deals, just somebody texted me about the deal because they thought I might be interested. All three.
Was it Joe who texted you that one?
Joe texted me about, Adam Witter texted me about the first one, Fairmount. Joe Schwartzbauer texted me about this one because
that's how I found both of my deals this year too, right? Not text specifically. Both of them called me, but same thing, right?
Yeah, if people know you're out there trying to invest and you have especially if you have a history of doing what you say you're going to do and closing, they'll trust you with your deals. So anyways, the hoarder house was, why don't we just, let's look at a clip.
Yeah, and for those of you who are listening to this, you're just seeing what you would imagine a hoarder house would look like. It's very dark. There's stuff everywhere. There's a small path through the floor with even, trash and garbage that you're walking on kind of thing. There's no real clear path, but there's a walking path. And just stuff everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you could not breathe inside this home. And I'm not being dramatic. I'm not very sensitive to smell. I had my shirt up to my nose and it was still really tough. Your eyes are itchy when you get out of the home. So yeah, it was bad. I think that's enough. I think you guys get it. So purchase price was $187,500. This is Bryn Mawr. What do you know about Bryn Mawr, Tim?
Poor man's Edina?
That's a great. You know what? I don't even think Bryn Mawr people would take offense to that. Yeah. It's just tiny. I mean, geographically, what Bryn Mawr is only how many blocks? Like 8 by 3. You got long blocks going north south and. Wait, am I looking at this incorrectly? No.
I mean, it's super convenient to downtown, right? It's.
I bet you the median price point in this neighborhood is like $575.
Okay.
So even though it's technically North Minneapolis, really great neighborhood. So purchased at $187,500. 60,000 went into this one. Go to my Instagram and you'll see a bunch of after. I think it looks.
And what is your Instagram for those who have never been there before?
Adam Tafel RE.
Okay.
Thank you for thinking of that. Anyways, $250 into the place. This was the first time I went to an individual and raised private money.
Yep.
So I borrowed all the dough, borrowed the $250 $50, and I pay the guy 12% interest, and he's happy. And I'm recycling it now for another deal. This one is rented at $2,500. It appraised at $370, which is wildly optimistic.
Okay. But it did. Yeah.
But it did. And that's what I needed. And so I ended up, the refi check is $260. Yeah. And so, $10,000 above what I put in. And it is just a break-even monthly rental. Rent is $25, payments $25.
Yeah, and I've done a deal that was similar to that before, and sometimes I hear people actually criticize that and go, "Oh, you need to have cash flow or whatever." So, and I disagree in that case, because anyone who says that had to put 50, 60 or more down, right? Maybe even 100 down to get to this break-even point. Or to get to, maybe they get to $500 a month cash flow.
Sure.
But you now have this property, you own it free and clear, or not free and clear. You own it with none of your own money into it. And from this point forward, any profit you gain from it, either upon sale, loan pay down, anything, is all cash in your pocket. And if you had to put, let's say, $5,000 in that property this year because you lost money on it for some reason, you would still have $5,000 into it instead of $80,000 into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
right. If I had to put $5,000 into it, let's just say, let's be realistic about the market value. It's not worth $370. I think it's probably $320.
Okay.
I think if I listed at $325, I end up finding, because it's only have one bathroom. It's a small bathroom. Okay. And it's on a service road. So another thing that makes it cheap, although I did do my research and I found comps. Let me show you guys here who are watching on YouTube.
So for those of you who are looking here or not looking, it's a service road to 394.
Exactly. Right? But you know what? Really nice homes all along the strip. So anyways, yeah, I think I'm sitting on 60 because I'll have to pay an agent, a buyer's agent, most likely, if I want to sell.
Sure.
Because this is the house you put on the market to sell. And so, yeah, I'm sitting on $60,000 in wealth that I didn't have before. And if I have to put $5,000 into it, then okay, I am sitting on 55.
Yeah.
I'm just shuffling wealth around. That's how I see it. I think I will sell this house before too long. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit my portfolio. It's kind of like the odd duck. Everything else I have is in Minneapolis. Everything else I have is just newer and I guess whatever.
We'll see how it goes. But
yeah.
At least you're going to hold it a year, so it could be capital gains, and you could 100%. 1031 instead of ordinary income, right?
If you know anyone looking to move to Bryn Mawr for a great price, let me know. Okay.
Next year.
Well, let's talk about one of yours, Tim. You didn't have as many deals this year, but you have something kind of exciting cooking right now. That technically started in 2025. So
sure. So I did 2 deals this year. Just talking about what what you were mentioning is both of them were phone calls to me. Hey, I think you might be interested in this deal, right? And so the first one you're pulling up here is 274 LaFond. And what 274 LaFond was, it was a new construction duplex built in the cities. Started the building permit, say, in 2022, never completely finished. The people made mistakes along the way. I'm not sure what those mistakes were, but I can tell you, instead of finishing the areas that would make it rentable, they spent money in areas that were not worth spending money on right away, like the basement, for example.
Sure.
I think they wanted to try to make it a triplex, and I think they failed. And in that process, they wasted too much time and money and ran out of money. That's my guess. No one told me that specifically, but I do know they tried to make it a triplex, so I'm aware of that at least. But the money and time it took to get all these inspections done and to get this set up as a triplex could have finished the upper units. If we look upstairs, we'll see that by the way, they didn't, I don't know if you can see a mistake they made, but they never actually plumbed in sewer drains and stuff. So you couldn't even turn this into a triplex without jackhammering the floor. What can you say?
What do you mean they didn't put in sewer drains?
Well, there's no drains for
there's no rough-ins.
There's no rough-ins for a shower or a kitchen or yeah. So
you want me to go up a floor?
You can. Hey, okay. Look there's someone there.
Matterport is so cool. I should do more. Do you always Matterport? Remember who was it? Glenn Williams was on, and he was he always has a Matterport of every project.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this one, you're going to see this Matterport was done at night because it was done for the purposes of what a contractor needed to do to figure out what to finish on the property. So if you're looking, you'll see that there's some trim that needs to be installed. There is lights on all the ceilings need to be installed. Vent covers. It needs a final coat of paint. It needs countertops, doorknobs. It needs the shelving and rods in the closet. It needs some appliance installed. It has its furnace going, but there's no AC hooked up yet. Things like that, right? So it's not finished.
Yeah, it's kind of it's not quite. You couldn't quite call it punch list. It's a little bit more than a punch list, but you're getting dang close.
Yeah,
right.
I looked at this and I said, if I had the Miguels do it, I could probably do this project for $30,000 to $40,000. Okay?
Finish it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be probably their, something somewhere in that range, right?
Sure. And you might end up spending less.
Maybe. Because you got appliances and ACs,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Oh,
the ACs was going to add quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
That's a solid $10,000 at this on these right here, and you got like $3,000 or more a unit for your appliances.
Okay, so walk me through it. So the source is who? Is it an agent or a seller? Or?
So I used to work with a loan officer whose brother is a loan officer / realtor. He does new construction mainly, and he works with the bank that foreclosed on this. And so he does a lot of work with them. So they called him and said, do you know anyone? I was his first phone call. He told me about it, and I was like, that's appealing. And I'll tell people, like, I've said this on the podcast many times, and one of the reasons I knew this was appealing because I talked to other investors all the time, and I knew someone building a house within about a mile or so of this place who was selling new construction for $550, duplex, 6 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms, 2 baths instead of 2 baths per unit. So I guess 6 bedroom, 4 bath. Okay,
and they have a buyer at $550.
Yeah,
or it's listed.
Buyer at $550, pre-sold.
Wow,
new construction
in Frogtown.
But new construction.
But in Frogtown?
Okay. 6 bedrooms.
In Frogtown?
So I thought to myself,
what are they asking for it? What was his first number that
this
he came
right
to you
here?
with? Yeah.
290.
290. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Including his commission. Because this is off market, he had to build his commission. Right?
Yeah, I'd probably say yes.
So anyway, I heard that. I thought, okay, well, this place. I quickly looked it up on Google Street View just to see what it looked like, and I saw what everyone else saw here. And he had sent me some interior photos, so I had an idea what the interior looked like. And I thought, well, if the remodel of this place is $50,000-$60,000, I thought I could safely get it done for $60,000 because I knew I had to pull permits. I knew it wasn't going to be as quick and easy as using the Miguels, and I knew I wasn't going to use them, right?
Sure.
So I thought, okay, $60,000 interior. I own it for $350,000. I get an appraisal for somewhere close to $500,000. I could burr this. I would own it, and I would own a brand new 6-bedroom place, and everything else, right? So that was my plan. Turns out my private money guy didn't like the deal because he didn't like working with the city of St. Paul. I found out at least near the end that there were some question marks on whether it was a legal duplex in St. Paul. It turns out it was because they changed zoning from the time it started to the time it finished.
Okay.
But originally zoning required a garage. This place does not have a garage. They removed that requirement in 23.
Got it.
But I couldn't tell that right away, so I had to talk to the city. Anyway, long story short, I had problems getting financing. I had problems with contractors. The cheapest bid I got was $80,000 to do that work.
Wow, because you need someone licensed to finish up.
And frankly, I just think they were trying to charge full retail and everything else. And just like, I felt like if I would have did it, first of all, truth be told, I did not dedicate enough time early on in the process. Mm-hmm. I thought I had people in the bag that were going to quote me prices that would work. So I didn't really search out multiple people. I wasn't using all my normal people because I knew I was going to go through a very rigorous inspection process because it's new construction. Anyway, long story short, I did have a bid that was over $90,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And the first bid I got was in the 60s, but they revised it up to 80 something. And then and the $90,000 bid. And I was just like, so I called my buddy who's building new construction places. He goes, Tim, this is going to cost me $30,000 to do. He's like, maybe 35, right? His cost, right? I mean, truly labor costs, like no markup whatsoever. And he has quick access to financing on new construction places. So I essentially partnered with him very loosely. I signed the deal to him and kept equity in the deal. And I'm a partner on this deal now, and he's going to complete it. And I'm expecting that he will own it for $320,000, $325,000, something like that. And
even if it refis at $450 on a cash out, you're still getting $337 back. Yeah, so it's pretty safe.
This one, he doesn't have any interest in keeping it, and he's driving the boat and stuff. Really? So this will get sold. Cool. This will be, but someone will be able to buy a new construction place for $450-ish to $500.
Sweet.
And have, like no real worries of maintenance costs or anything else. And it is 6 bedrooms. My market research of the area, 6 bedrooms are less than $4,000, but I think you can get $4,000 to $4,200 for this place because of how nice it is and everything else.
Can you break that down? How many bedrooms in each unit?
3.
Okay. And you think you get what for one
so
unit?
I think you can get between $2,000 and $2,100 per unit.
Sure. Yeah.
For a 3-bedroom.
Yeah, definitely.
Which would be a high rent for that area, but it's not that much higher than what the dumpy places are going for. So you might even be able to push $2,200 in the right market with a little luck. But I think $2,100 is a doable number. I think you might have to rent it for $2,050 or whatever for a little while. Keep in mind it's brand new construction, so it is also 15-year. Rent control doesn't apply for 15 years. So you can start out by renting it lower and raise rents up to get it up to where you need to.
Very cool. And then those of you watching on YouTube, this is I don't really know. I know like from, here's Dale. Let's see. I know from like Western all the way to Minneapolis, kind of like the back of my hand, right? From as Frogtown turns to East Midway to Midway, to St. Anthony. But I don't really know to the east of Western, this little pocket here. Oh, so Como is here.
It's a weird pocket, and I will tell you this: it's the end of the block is some fields for the Frogtown Community Center.
Yeah,
it looks really nice. How I judge the lower income areas is like how well are the outside the houses kept.
Totally.
Are there any broken down cars? Mm-hmm. Everything looked well functioning in like a normal neighborhood in that area. Even though I do know it's part of a low income area, and when you drive nearby, you see more signs of low income. When you get in this little pocket, to me it seemed like a nice little pocket. And the place itself, I mean, you could pay $450 and get a place that's not nearly as nice that's 100 years old. So I think it's worth $450 all day long, and I think it should be able to get a little more than that.
Yeah, and especially I think we're gonna have I think the market is swinging in favor of sellers, and that we're going to see that as the weeks go on here this winter. That's just my prediction. And so your timing might be really good.
Yeah. And I don't think we need to go into any details, but I did have one other project that I got earlier this year from a realtor just calling me up because I do business, right? So again, kind of just going back to that, if you execute and people know you're doing business and you're talking to other investors, things like someone selling new construction houses for $500,000 a mile away from this property, right? That, and so you can make decisions quicker. You can get invited to opportunities you wouldn't get other ways. So get out there and network, get out there and be active.
Yeah, great segue into my latest deal. Oh, did I click out of that? I did not mean to do that. Let me go back to Vimeo. Hey, here's a plug for my Vimeo page. If you go to vimeo.com/ I think it's Adam Tafel, or maybe Adam Tafel RE.
You might have to get into the branding thing and make everything the same.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm pretty sure it's Adam Tafel RE. Yeah. Anyways, I post a ton of off-market walkthroughs and even just my own stuff. I don't know. A lot of people follow me on Vimeo because I'm always posting real estate stuff there. It's not polished like YouTube. It's just raw walkthroughs. Anyways, my friend John, who's an agent, called me because he said, "Hey man, do you want to buy this deal? This is kind of by my house, Highland Park, Highland Village." I think I talked about it last episode, so I'm not going to get super in the weeds.
Can you close the little bar? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah.
So this is cool, man. And as I look at it, I'm like, why am I wholesaling this? I did receive an offer today for a chunk over what I'm paying. I just closed on this morning for $300,000. This house has newer windows, newer siding, and when I say newer,
it looks like new. It looks like new high efficiency
furnace,
yep.
New air conditioner.
By the way, if you don't know how to see the high efficiency, you just see those white pipes coming out. They don't get hot, so they use PVC rather than the old metal. That's how you know it's high efficiency.
Good tip. I had no idea. But look at this. It's the Highland Village, man. The Coldwell Banker's right there. I'm zooming in on the Jimmy John's to show my client. It's got this finished porch on the back. It's got a single car garage. Again, this neighborhood is, I don't know.
That's a big backyard.
It's not bad, right? It's like a 9 out of 10. And small. Okay. So, that stuff all over the floor is just like from one of those rug mats.
If you're listening, it's hardwood floors, but it's got some discoloration that looks, to me, it looked like it was just worn, but it's the mat that was stuck to the floor. Is that what it was?
Exactly.
Okay. I've seen that before.
Yeah. So let's talk about making quick decisions. These people were freaked out because they thought they had there was some sort of water getting into the attic. I guess the problem has been dealt with. I've had my roofer go through the whole attic. He couldn't find anything, but they thought they had some sort of water issue, and then they thought they had a structural issue because the back of the house has one of those finished porches. Mm-hmm. So check this out. And where they built all those porches to be slanted away from the home, and that's how their floor is. See right here.
So they thought it was deteriorating, and
they thought this house was deteriorating. And again, I never met these people. They were not my client. I didn't give them any advice. I just, they asked, "Do you want it at 3.25?" I looked at the ARV being probably with a finished basement, $425 to $450. We talked about it last week. You're like, yeah, there's not a lot of meat on the bone. So I offered 3. And if I hold on to this, I think I'll put 30 into it. I could do a really quick and dirty basement finish for probably 20 and then put 10 into the upstairs. And then at that point, I think it will appraise for at least 400.
Okay.
And then worst case scenario, I'm 30,000 into the deal on the refi. As you can see, this post-war home has a wide open canvas in the basement for finishing. I'll tell you what, guys, at some point there's going to be no more basements to finish.
I think it's going to take a while, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, in my very specific niche of the Twin Cities, eventually they're going to be done.
How's the headroom? That does not look like great headroom to me.
It's very standard.
Yeah. Okay.
So this beam right here is probably at like 6'2", but these joists are probably 7.
Okay.
So it's not great, but that's what.
But it does. The floors look clean. The walls. I look at the corner of the walls and the bottom of the walls. Okay, so that corner has some little deterioration I was looking for.
Yep. Yeah, I like this deal. I am wholesaling it. And this was a deal that if you're in our Facebook group, you would have seen this Vimeo video posted. So I've got a guy he wants to look at it one more time, but we basically have a deal. His lender's already given it the stamp of approval. My plan was to do a furnished rental. This is like perfect furnished rental material.
Okay.
Like midterm, if you know anything about midterm rentals. Man, I lose all my tabs.
It looks like it. Do you have a second browser open?
No. Huh, that's weird. Anyways, I guess I just won't show. Well, actually, I'll log back into the MLS.
All right. So
okay, let me just put a bow on that. If I hold on to it, I will be approximately $330 into it. It'll be worth $4. My payment will be mid $2s. It'll rent in the upper $2s, and I will have created $70,000 of wealth, and I will have planted a little wealth seed that's 4 blocks from my house.
Right.
And that's it. Those are my deals of the year.
Cool.
Let's go to... Okay, now we're going to talk about our top favorite client deals. And the first one is $895 Humboldt. You want to talk about this one? Oh, wait, I don't have it in this cart. Hold on.
Well, let me do this. I actually have the mortgage stuff up for the other deal, but let me see if I can pull that up real quick.
So this is so yeah, Tim and I just want to talk about, we have mutual clients, obviously. A couple of these people actually found us through the podcast. And we helped them on these deals. So we picked our favorite 7 client friend of the show deals of the year, and we're just going to go through these quickly with you. But yeah, 895 Humboldt is on in West St. Paul. It's a mid-century triplex, listed at $399, sold at $416 with a $7,800 seller contribution. 6-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,600 finished. Cool place, and I had the photos pulled up, but then I lost on my tabs. You want to say something about the mortgage?
Well, yeah. So this particular one was a triplex purchased with only 15% down. So between purchase price and closing costs that the buyer had to pay, at closing they brought, I'm going to round to 6,800 or 68,000. It was actually slightly under that, believe it or not. There was some earnest money, so I believe the actual cash in the deal was like $5,000 more than that, if I remember correctly. I'm going to look here real quick.
Wait, there's a non-owner occupant triplex loan out there where you only put 15% down?
Yeah.
Really?
That's what this deal was.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I know you were talking about a non-owner occupant duplex deal at 15% down.
It's 2 to 4 units.
But then it like went away. Oh, so this was the only one we did.
So no. There was a 10%, but that went away faster than it came in. I had a 10% for like
Got it.
a couple weeks, but it was weird because it had to be over $450,000 mortgage amount, if you remember. So the purchase price had to be more than $450 because the loan amount had to be $450. It was 10% down, and they got rid of it so quickly. They switched it, no more minimum loan amount, but 15% down, and that stuck.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I've done a few of them already this year. I'm working on, I think maybe my 3rd for the year right now with someone. Anyway, so this one he got into it with, I'm just going to round numbers for the podcast sake, $4,500. Earnest money plus 68. So you're at, what is that? 72.5, like that, cool. to get into a triplex. And, recently made a comment to me that, even if one of the 2 tenants didn't pay, like if the tenant in the lowest unit didn't pay, he was still going to be, at a break even. So he's profiting by at least 1 full unit on that with only 15% down. Now he had to put some of his own money into it, which doesn't, there was some rehab that went on to sweeten the place up.
Minimal though, very light.
Yep. But overall, I picked this as actually my favorite deal for many reasons, including someone actually worked to get it done, right? Because there were some reasons not to do it. The little bit of work that needed to happen. And when he came across the deal, he didn't have his whole down payment. Rather than going, how do I he found a way to get it done. He's like, okay, Tim mentioned 15% down. He called me. Actually, we were just switching from the 10% to 15% down program. And he called me up and he said, can I do 10% down? I said, no, but you can do 15. And he found a way to make it work, right? So I like it for that reason. I like that it cash flows. I like that it's in a good area. I like that it's really a cool property. If you're on our YouTube, you'll be able to see it's a very kind of retro cool vibe, you know?
Yeah, it's like a swanky 50s pad. And then I'm bringing it back to the lot and the landscaping. Look at that. How beautiful is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hung out with this guy the other day, and I was talking about how the place on Pinehurst that I just talked about, I borrowed from my Roth IRA, I cleaned out my Roth IRA, and then I keep a good chunk of cash in just a reserve account, and I just don't touch it. And I drained that sucker to zero to close on Pinehurst today.
Yeah.
And so Kevin, this guy in a similar fashion, really pulled out all the stops.
He had to scrape together this 15% down and the money needed to rehab. He's talked about it before on the podcast. We have permission to talk about this deal, by the way, but I think it's just a good example of there are deals out there. If you're looking, they don't always appear like a deal day one. You sometimes have to put it together. I think this one looked like a deal from day one. He just needed to figure out how to get it done. Like it wasn't really the deal looked so bad on this one. It was more like, how do I come up with the funds? Because he didn't have the 15% the day he, wrote the offer. Just like I didn't when I bought the property from you in 2024.
Yeah, right? We never have money when we start. We never know how it's going to work out. Well, that's the thing. It's like once you do this for a while, you no longer like, okay, I'm going to buy another place. Now I'm going to get pre-approved. Now I'm going to start searching. It's just not like that anymore for most investors.
Right.
It's something falls in your lap and, oh my gosh, what do I have to do to get this done? And you're not sitting on hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, which would be 25% for a lot of these deals.
And this one, do you know what the current rent is by chance?
I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of like $2,300 for the main, $15 for one of the lowers, and then $11 for the other lower. So 47, maybe 46.
Yeah, and
wait, am I?
That sounds about right because I seem to remember that's almost exactly 1 unit's worth of rent as profit.
No, it's closer to 5,000.
The mortgage payment is less than $3,500.
It's closer to 5,000 gross, Tim.
Okay, and it's actually closer to $3,400 than $3,500, but I'm just saying it's less than $3,500, closer to $3,400.
Cool. Okay, second favorite deal. I identified 12300 Marquess Way. And I'll tell you what, this is a mutual client of ours. One really fun thing that Tim and I get to do is we help a house hacker for a few years, a couple deals, and then finally their wife's like, "Hey, honey, can we have like a house, please?" Right. And some of the most satisfying deals for me are helping the house hacker just like cash in the chips a bit, right? So I'm not even going to go into this house, but this is just like a beautiful 3,800 square foot single family home in Lake Elmo on a great lot. That was overpriced at first, stale on the market, ended up getting what I believe was a pretty great deal at $590. And, you sacrifice for long enough living next to a tenant.
That was their second or third house hack. I think it was their second, right?
I think this particular person only did one house hack before they bought this house.
No, because he did one before I ever met him. I helped him on his second deal.
I think you're confusing this with someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
this is the brother. The brother. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, we did brother deals for brothers.
We did one for his brother too. Yeah. And he had done a handful.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a handful of house hacks or two. So yeah, nothing else to say about that. Just kind of stood out. Okay, we're talking about 560 Striker.
Yeah. This one You remember, so those of you who listen to the pod for a while hear Adam talk about Stryker because his first house was on Stryker and very close to this, right? What was the address of your first house?
Well, 416 Strikers is the first house I ever bought. And guess what? I was there today because I'm the listing agent and we're hopefully going pending on Saturday. So
okay, cool.
It's the house that just keeps on giving for me.
So I heard that, and when my client called me, so this is a friend of the pod as well. He's been on an episode, and I got permission to talk about his deal. He's his own agent for his own deal, so he did this one on his own, and I did his mortgage for him. This is a house hack, but he decided to put a little more down. He put enough down. He put 15% down on it. You can see this is public knowledge, so the purchase price was $300,000. And he got the seller to pay 3% towards his closing costs. It's actually $299 to be exact. So if you want to get real technical, the closing costs paid were a little under $9,000. His cash at closing, including if I add on earnest money, was just got to look at what earnest money was about 52. Okay, roughly it was rounded to 52, but his mortgage payment's a little over $2,000.
Nice.
And do you have the rents from Rent-O-Meter I sent? If we want to put those up on the screen.
Well, what are they?
They're about $1,800.
$1,800 per unit.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's actually a little bit more than that. I think it was $1,870 if I remember correctly. Where the median rent for this area is 2-bedroom. So if he ends up getting any, now he's living in one side and there was someone in there for much less than $1,800. I will say that. I mean, he didn't move in with $1,800 in rents. And this place, I'm showing the pictures right now for those of you who aren't, it actually needs a little TLC to get up to that number, right? This is not a $1,800 the day you walk into a place.
No. This
is probably a $1,500 per unit place as it sits the day he bought it. But even at those numbers, he can move out and cash flow at day one. And with a little TLC, which he's been on the podcast before, he'll do. He probably will get it up to $1,700 per unit before he moves out and just add another nice simple piece to the portfolio. I liked it because to me, it's a very solid deal. It appraised for a decent amount more than he paid.
Nice.
Probably about 5% more than he paid. And that was as is, right? With low rents. So I just think it was a nice solid deal. And one of those things where I think if someone were to look at it and pick it apart, I've seen customers pick apart deals like this and not do them. And I think if you have optimism and you know how to take care of a property and how to fix it up, you end up in a situation where that's where you win on something like this.
Yeah. What do you think someone who's a little bit pickier or a little bit new, what do you think they would have picked apart about the deal? The first thing I noticed, and this isn't something bad about the deal, but if the photo isn't helping to sell the property, don't put it online. Why is this?
Yeah, that's an awful photo.
Why does this photo exist?
It's like, by the way, it's a back hallway that just has a bunch of junk in it.
Yeah. So don't lead with that. It just more effort. You know, if you're a seller, put in more effort. If you're an agent, put in more effort.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes some of these things you can't help because this one did have a tenant, so you're going to have to deal with their stuff.
Sure.
But this one's, it's not awful, but like having all this personal belongings in the photo isn't ideal. And if I remember correctly, only one of them was occupied, so I don't know why this other one has stuff. Maybe when they took the pictures, it was occupied. Maybe they didn't wait until it was unoccupied, but...
But sorry, what do you think someone else would have picked apart? I mean, it's just kind of cluttered and...
It's kind of cluttered, and I think if I'm unexperienced, I look at some of the flaws, like the floors need sanding, and I worry about it too much, right? And then you look at some of the ceilings in here, like this ceiling in particular. I know in person that doesn't look as good as it even looks in a picture. But again, Tucker looked past that and said, this got good bones. It's in an area where I can get, $3,000 plus in rent for this place, and my mortgage payment's going to be $2,000, right? And there you go.
And that totally fits his kind of brand. He's bought these just like bargain. He's a bargain hunter.
He is a bargain hunter, but he finds bargains that are worth it, right? Like, because you could get the same price place and be in a neighborhood that's not nearly as nice.
Yeah, totally. No, 500 block of Stryker is solid. Cool. Next on the list, 840 Linwood. This is a cool one.
This is one of the coolest houses you sold this year.
100%. So 840 Linwood is 800 block of Linwood. What more can we say? Crocus Hill. Prime Crocus Hill, you guys. Okay, so my house at 1010 Fairmount, I say Crocus Hill, but technically I'm on the other side of Victoria. 840 Linwood is in the heart of Crocus Hill. And if you know about this part of town, as the numbers get lower, right, when you get to like the 300s and 400s, you are in like the most beautiful mansions. So they get nicer and nicer as the numbers get smaller. And this sucker, I guess...
This is a pretty big-ass place.
This is huge. This is 4,000s finished, 8-bedroom, 4-bath duplex. Up, down, built... like a commercial grade building, right? In every other universe, this is a fourplex.
Sweet front door.
Really sweet front door. Love the shape. 2025 was slow for sellers in multifamily. This sat on the market for 156 days.
Because it was expensive.
They listed at $699.
And the client might not have bought it, but wouldn't have made as much sense if he would have used me for financing.
Right. So one reason why we identified this deal, it still would be my favorite regardless. But the seller actually wanted to use contract for deed. For the first time in my life, I wrote a financed offer. Sorry, Tim, to do it to you.
Yeah.
You were ready to do the financing, and they said, hey, actually, she's got so much depreciation recapture, whatever lots of capital gains taxes to be paid. Can we do contract for deed? And then you're not thrown into that high tax bracket. And so I want to say that we negotiated 4% interest.
You got a really, I think that sounds about right. It was really low.
It was maybe 5, but I think it was 4.
I think it was 4.
I think it was 10%
I think it
down.
was 4 and not a penny more than 4, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so 10% down, 4% interest for 6 years, I believe. And dude, I mean, what more? These units will rent for $2,500 a month like this, and you don't really have to try that hard because somebody's going to see this neighborhood, big unit, and if you want to try, he could make these units a lot nicer and then go for that, like, I don't know, 3,000 upper 2s.
Yeah. Which is probably what I would end up doing because the market, that neighborhood just will do it, right? And it's really hard to, I mean, up front you look at capital and you go, oh, why would I want to do that? But like, if you can finance in particular, if you can finance those repairs, or in his case, he didn't have to, he's got a lot of cash. If you can put these things down and you can get, an extra $500 a month per unit, extra $1,000, $12,000 a year.
Yeah.
Over 10 years, that really adds up, And not to mention, then it's such a nicer place when you go to sell it.
I really hope he holds on to this place for an incredibly long period of time. This is the kind of place you'd like to give to your kids someday. It's the kind of place where you could have long-lasting relationships with a tenant who stays with you for 12 years. Like that. This is the kind of property.
It's the kind of place where Adam could finish the basement.
Yeah, yeah. Look at that. We got matching boilers side by side.
And this was on market, right?
On market, yeah. I liked the listing agent.
One of the ways you find a deal like this and why it's sat on the market so long is just not many people are looking for $700,000 duplexes. And so that's why so sometimes you'll find something like this out there that's just sitting because it's not what the norm is looking for in that price range.
100%. Yeah, he got one of the best price. Honestly, though, the price per square foot, phenomenal for the area. People will pay $450 for something that's got barely 2,000 all day long.
$450 a square foot, you mean?
I'm sorry, someone will pay $450,000 for half the size easily, and certainly half the bedrooms and bathrooms, which is most important as we're renting. Of all of the deals on this list, we identified our 7 favorites. This is the one that I want. if I was going to pick one.
Well, as far as properties go, it's definitely the one.
Cool.
What's next?
What's next is 1540 Eigelhart. This is not super interesting to you investors out there. I'm going to be quick. I was a party to a transaction. I'm not going to give anything away, but there was a tenant somebody wasn't treating a tenant very well. And I was introduced to the situation. I kind of befriended her. She is a very sweet woman, a teacher. I don't know if she had never owned a home or she hadn't owned a home in a really, really long time. And, and she wasn't planning on buying anything, certainly. But, she qualified for a grant and she got out of a situation where people were being unkind to her as a tenant. And we found her this.
I love it.
For $238,000 in Merriam Park.
Yeah. And the reason why we wanted to show this particular property was not because it's an investor, but some of you have children that are listening to this. And just some of you might be thinking, I don't want to be a duplex owner. There are nice places out there for reasonable price. You have to look for them. And you have to be ready to jump on them the second you find them, because anyone else, as soon as a price like this comes up, there are a lot of other people who want to pay under $250 for a livable house in a nice neighborhood. You can't sleep on this. You can't think about it. You see it, you buy it. Mm-hmm. And so we just wanted to kind of highlight that. And it's a cute little greenhouse. Yeah.
I mean, there's not much else to say. It's small, but it's on, let's pull up a map here. I mean, Marshall and Snelling, essentially, is where it's at. But great part of town. You couldn't be more convenient, right? If this would crush on Airbnb. It would do really well.
Yeah.
But anyways, just kind of one of those like really feel good deals. Like that, man, I made, the team made somebody's life a lot better, I believe. Okay, 1720 3rd Street, friend of the show. This person reached out to us, a listener of the podcast.
Yeah.
This is another cheap house. I called this the Crystal Meth Grandma House. This is northeast. What do we call it? Is this Sheridan, Tim? Bottineau.
Bottineau is how that's said. Yeah. I played football against Bottineau. I know.
Okay.
I grew up northeast for those of you who don't know.
But check it out, man. She was grandma was ripping darts in the house, smoking in the crib, okay? And everything really needed to be done. As I look back at my year, I helped more people with big renovations than ever before. And I'm not a contractor, okay? So I'm not even to a professional extent. I guess whatever. But I helped introduced them to the right people.
Yeah, you didn't do the work. You introduced them.
No.
And you said like, look, this can be done for 50, not 80 or whatever, right?
Yeah, 50, not 200.
Sure. Yeah, there you go.
And I think I just instilled confidence in people, right? Because I, instilled confidence in myself. So anyways, this stinky, crappy old house. Why don't you fill in the silence here? I'm going to find it. Well, you were involved in the deal.
I was, because they came to me first without Adam, and they were working with the listing agent, and they kept telling me things that the listing agent was saying, and I'm like, number one, this does not sound right. Number two, I would not buy this deal as is. And I'm like, you need Adam, and you need Adam's help, because this listing agent basically isn't looking out for you. And Adam stepped in and helped them put together a deal that did work. Prior to that, they were getting all kinds of garbage information from the listing. By the way, it's not the listing agent's job to work for them. The listing agent's job was to work for the seller. And a lot of people kind of don't understand that. The listing agent was not doing anything wrong. And actually, I wouldn't say he was doing anything unethical. He was just pushing them in ways I could tell was not in their best interest.
Well, even a perfectly ethical listing agent who can exercise dual agency perfectly, representing buyer and seller, is not legally allowed to negotiate to the detriment or benefit of either party. And so, do you want someone who can argue on your behalf to benefit you, or do you not?
Yeah.
And whether it's me or any other buyer's agent in the world, make sure you have somebody who isn't the listing agent.
I noticed the lights, by the way. So those of you who are looking here, if you should, the before and after are worth
striking, right?
Yeah,
let's go back to the before real quick.
Yes.
I'm just going to swing through here.
I want you to look at the lights.
This bathroom had this ledge here and a cupboard in the bathroom.
Yeah, which is just awful for water, right?
All right, you guys got it? You got it?
Yeah, the floors were awful. Everything was awful. It?
Yeah. All right, now let's go. Oh, so anticlimactic. Look at that, huh? That's how we do it. By the way,
also another thing I want to point out as you're looking online, if you're watching the video, is how much the artificial staging or the virtual staging does for the photos. How much better it makes it look. Yeah, I mean, that's a night and day difference, right? And now you've got a really cool, trendy place in Northeast Minneapolis that'll rent like that.
Yep, they crushed it. Again, these folks had never invested in real estate outside of primary homes, never really done a big renovation job.
And they bought 2 this year.
They bought 2, yeah.
They tried to buy a 3rd, but it didn't fell through or something didn't pan out.
We're working on a 3rd every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't the right one, the last one they tried, yeah.
Yep.
But I guess our first 2 clients from the pod both bought 2 deals in 1 year.
That is correct. Yeah. Wow.
So
cool. Okay. Last favorite, 1125 Orange Avenue. Another podcast listener. And we've talked about this place. We've talked about
this deal, but I'll tell you this. So I lived for 19 years. I lived within a block of this place. So I endorsed the neighborhood. It's right by this house is right directly behind this house is where they filmed Grumpier Old Men, the movie. That's where the houses were. On
no
the block,
kidding.
Directly behind it. Yeah.
I've never seen that movie, but no kidding.
And so anyway, it's the nicest area of East St. Paul. This little pocket. It's very close to Lake Phalen. I mean, close enough that you're about a block as the crow flies to the swing beach area. And Lake Phalen is a really beautiful path around it. And just not many rentals in this area. It's actually a heavily homeowner focused area. Very quiet, safe. Just a really cool place. This is a gigantic 4-plex, right? What was the total size?
Yeah, I want to say I lost it somewhere in the 4s, probably. Wow, 4,900.
Yeah.
So
what do we got for bedrooms?
Otherwise known as 5,000.
Yeah, 8 bedroom. So you've got.
Yeah, but that doesn't even tell the whole story. There are really probably 10. I would call it a 9 or a 10 bed.
Okay.
And I can't even get into why, but there are some like rooms without a closet, but they do have a door and a window.
Yeah. That
somebody could certainly sleep in my opinion.
Got it.
And yeah, I think we dug into this on a different show. But yeah, we'll just show it to you quick. Again, yeah.
I remember the boilers were old, so that turned people away. There were a couple other things that kind of like scared people off from it. And so if you're willing to take that stuff on and you had it looked at, what you did, right? You had everything inspected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look. I think I'd like to see I made this cart and I called it New Year's Eve pod.
Yep.
I just want to see days. I want to see the days on market. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think this one was on for a while, if I remember right.
Well,
orange.
You know what I bet it's going to be, Tim? It's either going to be incredibly low or a while. And maybe that's not such a profound thing to notice. But, like when a deal, the best deals, you either scoop them up right away when they hit the market, or I feel like they're stale for a while.
I encourage people to look at stale ones, especially this time of the year. So as Adam's doing this, in the winter is the best time to look at stale properties because a property goes on the market in just before Thanksgiving. If it doesn't sell, it really doesn't get much attention until the following New Year. But by then it's old and it's got a lot of days on market. And the way MLS works is in just all of these websites, they send out the new stuff, right? If you're on a drip list, you don't see it anymore after it's been out there for a while. So people it's not getting shoved in their faces and it's out there a while, and it's just because of the holidays and the weather and everything else. So really great time right now, this time of the year, to look at properties that have been on the market 3 months.
100%. And yeah, I proved my theory. The days on market for our favorite deals of the year are 164, 156, and 110, and then the rest are single digits. Okay. So either scoop it up or you wait a little bit. So
you're saying
to get a deal.
There were no 35 to 60 day days on the market.
Yeah.
Because that would be the normal window, by the way, is something like 30 to 60 days right now.
100%. Yeah. I have, listing agents know, like strikers sat on the market for 21 days or so, and then somebody offered, and they offered, actually, I'm not gonna disclose that right now
because it's not closed.
It's not closed. Yeah. But somebody thought they were gonna get a massive deal on my listing because it had been on the market for a while, and it's like, no, like you're not, like, because 21 days is really not that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, guys. You have any New Year's resolutions or any goals for the coming year, Tim? Anything you want to talk about
related real estate?
Or otherwise. You're a real guy, right?
Yeah. I didn't write any goals or resolutions. So, right now my focus is my family. That's real estate and business is important to me, but not as important as my kids. So right now it's all just about spending time with them. And my son Matthew, who's 17, is going to be spending the summer in Washington, D.C.
Really?
So he's taken a job with a national pest control company where he's going to be doing door-to-door sales.
I love
pest control for he's going to be there for 4 months, but the first month is all training, and then 3 months of just 6 days a week. He gets Sundays off, and that's it. And so,
is he going to have a TikTok? Where can we find him on TikTok?
We should get him on TikTok. Yeah.
I mean, that's where the money is. It's just filming yourself doing it. I think.
I love it. But I'm excited for that for him. I think that it's going to be trial by fire, and it's going to teach him a lot. And the cool thing is it's just short enough that it's only 4 months that he gets a little break. He can push really, really hard, and this isn't like the rest of his life. He's not like moving to another city and never coming home.
Does he have the opportunity to make some bank or?
So from what I understand, if I'm going to kind of generalize about this project, they hire a ton of people. Most of the people drop out. The people who stay make killer bank.
Sweet.
Something like that, right? And so he thinks that he might make $30,000 in 3 months of sales if he if he makes it to the end.
And how did he?
That's supposedly very possible. But a lot of people, including who knows, maybe him, I hope not, leave after just a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Homesickness. They don't like the rejection, whatever it might be.
So kids, I'm guessing younger people are flying into Washington, D.C. from all over the country to sell pest control?
Yeah, well, his group is in Washington, D.C.
And they're flying all over the country.
They have other places, but his, the guy who has recruited him, who went to school with him the year before, so this is this is a little bit like college pro for pest sales,
Sure.
This White Bear Lake high school kid did it the year before, was successful. He was one of the ones who made it through, bought a car, everything paid cash, made tons of money, and is now recruiting Matthew. Matthew's already agreed, and I really like the idea behind it. But his territory is Washington, D.C.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's that. And, I've got all the other things with kids. So, it's just it's a year of family. The next couple of years is really going to be focused towards that for me.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have one thing that so we're recording this on January 2nd. On January 1st, we spent, at least half the day together, and we played Cash Flow, the board game.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm telling you, we played it with our kids before, but now as they're getting a little older, I highly recommend that if you don't have that board game, that you buy it and you play it with your kids. Going through a balance sheet and on some level budgeting, it's so much more of a well-written game than Monopoly, right?
Sure.
You might think of Monopoly as I highly recommend it. I would buy it and do it. You're going to get a lot out of it. And my kids didn't like playing it at first. They didn't want to go through the hassle of writing down all their debts and how much it was monthly, but it was really cool to see them do it. So my big thing, it looks like there's a cash flow for kids too. I forgot about that. So maybe that's probably for younger kids. We played the regular adult version game, but I would definitely buy it and play it.
Cash Flow by Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy. Kiyosaki?
Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki.
We can never say his name on this show.
So anyway, that's my tip.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, thanks everybody. The Facebook group started 7 years ago. I got a notification on my phone the other day.
Yeah.
You and Jordan started Twin Cities Real Estate Investing almost 7 years ago to the day.
Yeah.
And that was yesterday.
I remember why we started it too.
Why is that?
Because Jordan got upset with the then Millennial Investor Facebook group because they didn't like him posting something in there. I don't remember, like it was a property or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. Self-promoting himself.
Something like that. Yeah. And he had done so much for the community, so he's like, "Fine, I'll start my own." Yeah.
Well,
and the meetup's been around that long then because that started after the meetup. So, I had some people recently ask me when our next event is. It's February 11th at RPM Viking.
Property Management Best Practices with John Scribante.
Yeah, thank you for the pronunciation. Mm-hmm. So we're doing that, and we need to plan out the year. I think this year we plan them out so we have them set.
Bingo. Should we do a meetup next week? I mean, the first...
I'm not feeling it.
No?
I think. Okay. Well, I think if you don't have value, you're right, we should do valuable ones.
Yeah, you're right.
I do. I've noticed that we have good attendance at the ones that are socials. So I think we should do 3 or 4 socials a year.
Yeah.
I noticed that there's new people that come to those that don't come to the other ones. So I want to incorporate more socials, including February 11th. By the way, is going to have a social happy hour after it's over or after the presentation, so to speak.
February 11th.
I believe it's February 11th. Yeah,
because it's usually the first. What is it? First Tuesday or first Wednesday? So that wouldn't make sense.
It is February 11th. I looked it up twice recently, so I'm doing it right now. It is 6 o'clock.
So second Wednesday
at Bear Cave Brewing Company is where we're going to meet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Go to meetup.com and find Twin Cities Real Estate Investing. Thanks to everyone who's making our community awesome. I got another Spotify Wrapped text from someone the other day, or from a top fan. So that was cool.
Yeah, we love those. It's fun, and we do appreciate everyone sharing the podcast, sharing the YouTube, so if you know anyone who would be a good guest, we'd love to hear that. Mm-hmm. We'd love to see
or a good meetup host.
Yep,
meetup speaker.
Exactly. We'd love to see you at the meetups. Right, that's been fun. At our very last meetup, I met several people I didn't even know listened to the podcast. Some of which live miles from me and whose kids go to school with my kids. So it was cool. I've had that happen a couple of times now, where local White Bear people come up to me and say they've watched the pod. So thank you.
I'm working on a guest right now. I'm not gonna drop any spoilers, but probably will be like our most like big time guest as far as any investor we've had.
Yeah.
I think he'll be the king.
That's awesome.
So
we had some fun ones. I don't know if you know this, but like Macy's at Maplewood Mall was purchased by a local group, and they've converted that building into a Asian mall, but like a glamour mall. Like most of the Asian malls are very they're like flea markets. This is like Asian. I know glamour is probably the wrong word, but luxury, high end.
Yeah,
Asian mall. So
that's cool.
We're gonna have him on, and he's a local broker.
Very cool. Yeah, we have Ford Wagner round 2's coming up already. Yeah. Because we didn't get into his holdings, right? Yeah. But he'll be here next week if you believe that. Then yeah, cool. Thank you, Shook Rentals. Thank you, Network Title. Is that the camera? Thank you, Network Title. No, right there. Thank you, John Scribante and RPM Viking. You guys are the best. Thanks for your support. Remember, all of our sponsors give you guys a deal. All of them. It's that camera.
Yeah. So I just mentioned the pod to get the discount.
Mention the pod.
Thank you. We've had some people reach out recently to us, and obviously we encourage that. If we don't really talk about it a lot, but we do want to help you in your real estate and financing needs. So if you need to buy, sell, mortgage, anything, please let us know. We'd love to help you.
You could be on next year's favorite deals episode.
There we go.
If you get pre-approved with Tim today, you go to TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com/schedule. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's it for today's show. You can visit the TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com website for show notes, tips, tricks, and other local real estate investing information. Adam and Tim would like to meet with you. To schedule a one-on-one meeting with either Adam or Tim, go to TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com/schedule.